Flake White is a warm white pigment that is completely opaque and permanent. It dries quickly, maintains a fresh appearance, and it mixes well due to its low tinting strength. The fine brushing and mixing qualities of Flake White makes it a favorite among oil painters, notably the late Lucian Freud. It's also called snowflake white or white lead. Yep, this really attractive white is a synthetic inorganic pigment derived from lead. While we know very well today lead is poisonous and not good for our bodies, Flake White has a surprisingly long history despite these health hazards. Composed of basic lead carbonate and zinc oxide, it's considered one of the oldest pigments. It was used as cosmetics in 400 BCE Athens, it was used by ancient Egyptians, and in the earliest Chinese paintings. Traditionally, Flake White is created by the stack process. They have hundreds or thousands of earthenware pots containing vinegar and lead. The pots were designed so that the vinegar and lead was separated, but the vapor of the vinegar would reach the lead. The pots were covered loosely with a grid of lead. The pots were stacked on top of each other with a layer of tan bark or cow feces in between. They were left for about a month to ferment, and the lead gets covered with a crust of rust that is white lead. The rust is separated from the lead, washed, and ground into a pigment. Venetian ceruse, also called spirits of Saturn, was basically Flake White but used as a cosmetic, by I guess painting your face instead of painting the canvas. And it was used during the 16th century as a cosmetic skin whitener. At the time it was in fashion to have really pale skin, so this powder was really popular and it was in great demand. However, since it's basically putting lead directly on your face, it was very bad for your skin. There's a lot of bad things associated with lead poisoning, but using it as a cosmetic on your skin, it will actually cause scarring, and the women would pile on even more to cover up the scarring, and it was just this really vicious cycle. Plus, since it was directly on their skin, it would be easily absorbed and caused lead poisoning, and this is associated with a bunch of horrible things like nervous system disorder, stunted growth, delayed development, kidney damage, hair loss, and over an extended period of time, it can cause death. So be really careful with lead. Anyways, back to painting. As I said, Flake White was extremely popular for painting, and part of it is due to the fact that there wasn't really any other whites that were really easily accessible until the 19th century when other white paints started to pop up. Flake White also has a lot of very appealing attributes, as I said before, but just to add to the list, it was also very durable, moisture resistant, and flexible. Basically, it lasted a really long time. It was sometimes painted as a base layer because its flexibility actually made the paints on top last longer, and it helped preserve the paints. Now, I think I've made it pretty clear that lead is toxic, as if you didn't know already. So if you are working with this color, make sure not to ingest any. With proper precautions, it can be perfectly safe to use in small quantities. But if you are a painter, I definitely recommend for you to read the safety materials provided with your paint, probably for all your paints in general, which can be found online. I'll link a blog post down below which talks about this. If you're still concerned, consider substituting it with another white. Flake White Hue is a very similar alternative but skips the whole lead part. There's also titanium white and zinc white. They're also usually cheaper because safety regulations has increased the price of Flake White. Titanium white has a stronger tinting strength, so use it in smaller quantities. Zinc white is a little bit less opaque and a little bit more transparent, so it's great for mixing more subtle colors while maintaining transparency. I hope you guys enjoyed this video about the dark history of Flake White. Thanks so much to the person who suggested this topic. I hope it lived up to your expectations. If you want to see more videos about history of colors, I'll link a playlist down in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Flake White. Why is there a fizz?